Well, good afternoon, council and staff. A special welcome to those that are joining with us virtually. A reminder that all communication devices are to be either shut off or placed on vibrate. Just as an information, today is National Pancake Day. Where that came from, but what we're celebrating today. Council, we have a full agenda this evening. We're going to be, we have a drainage meeting. We're in camera. We got to finish up our budgets, so we'll keep things moving along. This meeting is streamed live and recorded for public viewing on the town's YouTube page. We acknowledge that this land on which we are gathered today is part of the ancestral land of the Chippewa, Ottawa, and Potawatomi peoples, referred to collectively as the Anishinaabe. It is through the connection of the Anishinaabe with the spirit of the land, the water, and air that we recognize their unique cultures, traditions, and values. Together, as treaty people, we have a shared responsibility to act with respect for the environment that sustains all life, protecting the future for those generations to come. Council, I remind you, if you have a pecuniary interest, please declare it at the appropriate time. Clerk, we go to item 4.1. No delegations has been added.
Nothing's been added, Your Worship.
Okay, item 5.1. Nothing added to business arising from the previous meeting.
Correct, Your Worship.
Okay, council, let's go to item 6.1. Motion by Councillor Van Claveren, seconded by Deputy Mayor McEwen. The minutes be adopted by council, and those confidential minutes of the closed sessions of council remain confidential and restricted from public disclosure in accordance with the exemptions provided in the Municipal Freedom of Information Protection of Privacy Act. That would be our January the 14th, 2026 regular council meeting minutes, as well as our closed regular council meeting minutes. Council, you've had an opportunity to review all them. Any questions? All those in favor? Is carried. Okay, let's go to item 6.2. Committee meeting minutes. I have a motion by Councillor Wolvett, seconded by Councillor Van Claveren. That the minutes be adopted by council, and those confidential minutes of the closed sessions remain confidential and restricted from public disclosure in accordance with the exemptions provided in the Municipal Freedom of Information and Protection of Privacy Act. It will be our January the 14th Court of Revision meeting minutes for the Trustler Drain and associated branch drain, as well as our Court of Revision meeting minutes from the McFarland Award Drain. Any questions on that? All those in favor? That is carried. All right, let's go to item 6.3, Councillor's reports. Deputy?
We'll start with Mr. Bouchin. He has some, sent out some slides, I think.
Oh, yes, I did.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I did. So I had the pleasure of attending Roma earlier this month. So being a conference specific to rural municipalities, there's usually some pretty good sessions that are actually relevant to a small rural spot like us. But I did share some PowerPoint slides from some of the sessions that I did find had some useful information in it. So the presentations, there's one on rural road safety and specifically about new approaches to tendering projects that are larger in scope and potentially with partners. There was one about a new investment strategy for how to invest reserves using the prudent investor framework, which I'm sure staff know all about, but it was good to get the councillor perspective spelled out to us. And then one about strategic fiscal management, which is just hearing the same things that we're facing when it comes to the challenges and issues with our budgets and how to plan long-term instead. But I did share those slides with everybody because it's got most of the information in there so you can absorb it as well.
Thank you. Yeah. Mr. Basie.
I have nothing, thank you.
Well, thank you. And Ms. Rodriguez.
I have nothing.
Can we mark that down for those? Oh, Mr. Wolbett.
Thank you. I think Alex kind of mentioned everything there that I was going to mention on Roma. I really enjoyed it. Normally in the past I'd go to Good Roads, but I found this much more connected to listeners. Very interesting, the head speaker there, Chantel, I can't remember her last name. She come-
Hey, Bear.
Yeah, she comes from CBC, and boy, I tell you, she's sharp, and she gave us a history on where we're all at today with politicians and prime ministers and presidents, and very, very interesting keynote speaker. There was one event that I didn't attend because I wasn't feeling well, but it was called Dirt on Cemeteries. I was able to go back and look at the video, the same ones that Alex has sent out. And Lisa has, I got that to Lisa, and that report and stuff will be put on the cemetery committee. So all the cemetery committee can have a look at it. Really interesting what you can do in cemeteries today and what you can't, and the legalities around it. So that was a very interesting. Went to another one called ExploreNet. And that was an interesting one too, on all this internet and fiber optic cables that are being put in throughout the country, especially rural. Very, very interesting. So, and I went to some others, but I think Alex's videos will touch on that. So thank you, council, for allowing me to attend Roma.
So this lady spoke on politicians and everybody like that. So who was the most important politicians? Municipal politicians were the most important?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Thank
Yeah,
you.
she did
Okay.
happen to mention senior councillors.
Of course.
Yeah.
Mr. Van Claveren.
Thank you, Deputy Mayor. I think all I have to report is we had 2 preliminary drain meetings, which is the first meeting and it's after a petition has been placed with the town to examine a meeting. So we looked in Meadows and the Jackson drain. They were held here in Chambers. They were pretty informative and went well. That's all I have to report.
Mr. Mayor.
Thank you, Deputy. Things to share with you. First of all, reminder, tomorrow night is the Plympton Federation Agricultural Hall of Fame meeting at our fairgrounds, where we'll be looking at selecting recipients to be inducted into the Ag Hall of Fame later on this year. I too had the opportunity to attend Roma. A lot of it's been touched on, but a couple of things that really stood out with me. Talking to all the rural politicians, we all seem to be having the same problems and issues. And one of the major ones is lacking funding for infrastructure. Seems to be one that stands out for a lot of us. I did attend a session called New Code of Conduct for Municipal Representatives. Very informative. I did have the opportunity, as well as both our fellow councillors, to attend the keynote speaker, Chantal Hebert, as Councillor Wolvetta said, is Canadian journalist and political commentator. Very well spoken, hit the nail on the head exactly what is happening within our world and within Canada today. Also, CAO Sabansky and I had a meeting with Enbridge Municipal Stakeholder Engagement Advisor. We are actively setting the stage for further discussion with Enbridge to work on getting natural gas expansion within Plympton-Wyoming. So we did our initial talk with them, and further discussions are going to be happening. So came away from that pretty good discussion. So, and I had a meeting arranged with Minister Flack over laws, and unfortunately, at the last moment, somebody from Ottawa flew in and took our time slot with him. There's going to be a joint venture between the feds and the province, and that's about all that I was told. Minister Flack postponed our meeting, but he's guaranteed to come to here in March, so we're going to hold him to that. So
To this.
yes, he's going to come to our, yep, and we've offered to host it here in the office. So yeah, that's about all I have. Deputy, what about you?
Yeah, I haven't been as many places as you people have. I just went to Federation of Agriculture AGM the other night, Friday night. And, there was a speaker, they had a guest speaker there who spoke about farmerettes in the, right after during the Second World War. They had some in the First World War too, but the second one seems to have been very important. You should see those ladies. They had lots of pictures and they did lots of work. I bet they did more than the men. But anyway, that was about the extent of my, I've been busy, but not all the time with municipal work. Thank you.
Okay. I also do forget that I was in Forest for the Silver Stick, the opening ceremonies for the under 13s, U11s. And on Friday night to represent our municipality there. So it was a good crowd and went well.
That's why I went to the AGM, because you were at hockey.
I was at, I was on the ice freezing, yes. All right, let's go to item 7.1, accounts. We have nothing at this time, clerk.
Excuse me, correct.
Okay, and item 8, nothing under staff reports.
Sure.
All right, let's go to item 9.1. I have a motion by Councillor Rodriguez, seconded by Councillor Bojan, that bylaw 11 of 2026, being a bylaw to establish an interim tax rate to authorize the payment of taxes and to impose a penalty and interest of 1.25% per month on taxes in default, be taken as having been read 3 times and finally passed, and the mayor and clerk be authorized to sign the said bylaw accordingly. All those in favor? That is carried. Okay, item 10.1. We have a correspondence from the Kamlaki Firefighters Association. I have a motion by Deputy Mayor McEwen, seconded by Councillor Van Claveren, that the correspondence suggests the following motion: that the correspondence from the Kamlaki Firefighters Association be received, and the council waives the rental and insurance fees for the Kamlaki Community Center of $508.50, where they will be hosting their Kamlaki Firefighters Ball fundraiser on Saturday, February the 7th, 2026. Any questions? Councilor Wolbett.
Just one question that we've done this kind of thing before for sure. But there are times we've had them pay it and then we make it back to the organization. Would that be any, I'm all for doing this, but does that benefit us in any which way, or is it just
Mr. Sabansky.
just a wash?
I believe that would have been prior to our fee waiver policy. Now that we do have a fee waiver policy, there is a process for requesting fee waivers. So the association did follow that waiver policy.
Thank you.
Councilor Van Claveren.
I'll make a suggestion I made a few times and it's always gone over like a lead balloon. A free will offering. I think it would go a long ways. It wouldn't have to come out of their pocket. We'd gladly give it to them, but ultimately it's the nuts and bolts of carrying that place. And they're not going away and they're not getting any cheaper. I think a lot of people here are gonna be there, and I'm certainly prepared to put some in the pot. So I'm not sure why we can't consider that.
You want the people that are attending that event to do the free will offering to rent the place. I see. Okay. You know how much the tickets are?
True. We have some silent auctions items too.
Right.
Councilor Vacy.
Yes, I agree with this to the fact that they are our employees using our hall. We don't charge the Wyoming guys because their hall is designed to, put that kind of stuff on, so. Yes, there's expenses to it. I'm happy to see that they're stepping out and doing stuff. Maybe down the road when they get a whole lot of money in the bank and everything else, and consider 10% of their profits go to the hall or something, but I think to get them started, I think I'm fine with it.
Councilor Rodriguez.
Thank you. I fully support what Councillor Vacy said, except for the 10% down the road. They are employees and this is a hall and they don't have the availability to host these events anywhere else, so I'm totally in favor of it and I wish them well. Unfortunately, I didn't get tickets in time, they sold out. So I I hope it all goes well for them.
So there's a no on the donation.
Not for me.
Spansky?
And that, this does point out a bit of an inequality we have between the Wyoming Hall and the Kamlaki Hall in regards to access to public facilities for fire association events and fundraising events. It has been discussed at Fire Board in the past of how to rectify that. And putting some thought into that, we do have a number of organizations who generally benefit the community with their activities, who use their facilities for free. Most of them now have user group agreements. Obviously, for the not-for-profit ones, we're only using a couple hours a year or a week. It's a pretty basic agreement, but that might be something that we can work with the presidents of both associations developing on a free user agreement to ensure that their access to those facilities is maintained and that they don't have to necessarily come back to council every time for a fee waiver or to coordinate every event, as long as they're doing so in partnership with any other user groups who may be using that facility.
Councillor Vaizey?
Well, and with the association, the money come back to us anyway. Raising money for themselves to turn around, put back in the fire department. So it's kind of half a dozen of one that we're putting in one pocket, taking it out of the other and giving it back to them. So I like the idea of just going ahead and doing it, but
Over the next little while, I'll get some of the original agreements from Mr. De Silva and we'll edit those to be more appropriate for the associations. That way we establish a little more consistent use for both of those facilities.
Okay, any further discussion? All those in favor? That is carried. Okay, let's go to item 11.1. I have a motion by Councillor Van Claveren, seconded by Councillor Wolvett, that the correspondence items A to F related to recommended reading and routine approval and information items not otherwise addressed by resolution be noted as received by Plympton-Wyoming Council and filed accordingly. That's A to F. Beginning on my right. Mr. Bojan, anything from you?
Nothing for me, thank you.
Councillor Vaizey?
just F. I don't know if we need to support it, but it's interesting reading that they're now looking at putting cameras on the bus arms, the guys going around them. Great, the technology can do that. I don't know if they're.
Did you want to pull that, Councillor? Because I would support you on that. I was
I think so.
getting a grandchild off the bus and somebody went flying by. So I,
Catch a plate would be well worth it.
all right. Anything else, Councillor Vaizey?
That's it. Thank you.
Councillor Rodriguez?
I would just note, the Conservation Authority. Another advocacy from AMO on that subject matter. I don't think it's a resolution.
Just want to bring it to our attention. Anything else?
I had to act as well, so.
We'll get that one covered. Okay, Deputy Mayor, Councillor Van Claveren.
Not for me, sir. Thank you.
Councillor Wolvett.
We can just change it to.
Accept.
And I will read.
Okay, Councillor Van Claveren and Councillor Wolvett, you for the mover and the seconder of this motion. Are you comfortable with the fact of changing that correspondence items from A to E instead of F? We'll pull F and do it separately. You're okay with that? All right, council, a call for the motion. All those in favor? That's carried.
Yeah, I'm dying. Right.
It's like, Councillor Rodriguez, do you want to second that one?
Sure.
So the from is really long here and then go down to that one.
Council, I have a motion by Councillor Vaizey, seconded by Councillor Rodriguez, that council supports correspondence item F from North Granville and Merrickville Wolford OPP Detachment Board regarding the enhanced school bus safety and the implementation of a stop arm camera systems. All those in favor? That's carried. Thank you. Go ahead, Eugene. Okay, let's go to item 12, new business. Councillor Wolvett, anything from you?
Yeah, the only, a couple of just little things I had mentioned earlier about the street lights on Broadway, some of them being out. We brought that up, so just for information purposes only. Works was well aware of it, and was on top of it. The other thing I'll just bring up that really is just information is lots of comments on the latest snow plowing, all positive, how great of a job the public works guys are doing for the snow plowing in the storm. Fantastic job. That's all I have.
Yes, I think most of us have been getting compliments about their staff for the work that they've done. So Mr. De Silva, if you could take that back to your people. Even so, one of our workers shoveling snow uptown at 20 after 4 going home. So
I would be pleased to do that.
Absolutely.
all right, thank you, Councillor. Councillor Van Claveren,
Nothing from me, sir.
Deputy Mayor,
Nothing, sir.
Councillor Rodriguez. Vaizey.
On the snow plowing, I don't think those comments are after you've dug your laneway and the guy goes by. We're in the habit of catching you, right? Anyway, I was asked to bring up to you, if we would consider looking at a dog park. I had a long talk with the individual as far as the master plan, getting on, I think it's tonight, isn't it? The video and making their voices heard. You know, there is going to be substantial money in there in the next couple of years. It's not going to happen our term, probably not next term, but told them we would look and see what, it doesn't rate high in our master plan, but is it because the dog people aren't speaking up about it? I don't know. I said I would bring it up to you. I know it would alleviate Brian and the dogs in the ballparks because apparently they're cutting the locks off his gates so they can go and run the dogs, which is crazy. And I said, you know, we're looking down the road, but the biggest thing is a piece of property that would work. So if he's into it, find us some property, come with some solutions and help us with it. We'd certainly consider it, and I would take it to parks and get you guys thinking about it. So that's all.
I'm sorry to hear that they're cutting the locks. I know they're also going to the fairgrounds, which is private property. It's not as well, so
And you wouldn't care if they clean up.
they don't. Councillor Rodriguez.
Yeah, thank you. If I may,
You know,
to feed off of that. I was just speaking with someone, as a matter of fact, because I had my dog in the vet there. And who felt South Plympton School, the old South Plympton School, would be the perfect location, but that school board's pretty,
It's private,
property.
privately owned.
Not the school.
oh, they don't. They already did sell.
So
She had a whole design layout, the whole 9 yards. For it, she was stoked about it.
it doesn't mean we couldn't approach them. I don't think they use the yard for anything.
It's a ways out though.
It's on Confed, right?
Well, yeah, but. Yeah, when they get there, dogs have had to run.
they probably drive the dog.
Oh, I see.
Oh, yes, this is for drivers, yeah. The amount of people that drive to the Fox and Hound from everywhere.
Yeah, it's unbelievable.
Anything else, Councillor Vaizey?
No, that's all I had. Thank you.
Councillor Bojan?
Nothing for me, thank you.
Back to Councillor Rolvet. Then Mr. De Silva.
Just going back to the dog park, previous to this council was delegation came here about having a dog park. And they were gonna put up money for fencing and raise money and on and on. And I think they came here a couple of times and there was some options given to them. Areas like, I think one of them was back towards the sewage plant. Can't remember where the other ones were. But it all of a sudden just fizzled out. They didn't come back no more. So I don't know if they didn't like the locations or whatever, but they were leading the charge at that time, but then they just didn't. It just didn't work out. They didn't come back. Yeah. So, to me, if there's people out there, and there is with their dogs, and I've seen some of these dog parks and they're great, like the way they're fenced off and everything. But if there's a bunch of interested people, they should come and talk to us.
That's basically what
Yeah.
I told him to.
Yeah.
Lead the charge, kind of like you say, and I want to say yes, but you got to get me there.
Yeah.
Kind of thing, so.
Okay. Thank you, De Silva.
Yes, thank you, your worship, and I'm gonna change the topic if everyone's done with the dog park conversation, but at the last council meeting on the 14th, I was absent, but I believe it came up the issue of waste management transporting leachate from Watford to Petrolia, and council asked that staff look into that. I did get a chance to dig into that a little bit. The conversation is extremely preliminary at this point. They are looking at additional sites where they could take leachate, but it's not guaranteed it's gonna go to Petrolia. With that said, I did convey that any discussions moving forward, specifically when it comes to the routing of trucks, the town needs to be at the table. So I made that clear to them. So I will keep council apprised of any future developments in that regard.
Good. Thank you, Mr. De Silva, because that was a major concern we all had. All right, nothing else under new business? Okay, council, what I'm going to propose is we're going to go in camera. We have two items we're going to do first. And then we'll be coming back out and going to drainage. Is that correct, clerk?
Correct.
And later on, we will be back in camera later. So I have a motion by Councillor Rodriguez, seconded by Councillor Vasey. The council move into an in-camera meeting of council pursuant to section 239 of the Municipal Act 2001 as amended for the following reasons. Solicitor-client privilege, section 239, bracket 2, bracket F, advice subject to solicitor-client privilege, including communications necessary for that purpose, as well as litigation matters, section 239, bracket 2, bracket E, litigation or potential litigation, including matters before administrative tribunals affecting the municipality or the local board. All those in favor? That motion is carried. For those that are joining with us virtually, thank you for being with us. We will be back out of camera, definitely for 6 o'clock when we'll be doing drainage for sure.